Welcome back. This is still the Polity reaching you live from Abuja. I've been joined now in the studio by two guests. Nazir Sunusi is the International President of West African Law Students Association to my left, and I have Mohammed Musa as the Chief of Staff to the WALSA President, who is on my left. They're here to speak on the issue of the unconstitutional changes in government that have been witnessed in Africa fairly recently, even as early or as late as just some weeks ago. They're here to speak on the way forward. Welcome to the program, gentlemen. Good afternoon.
Thank you so much, sir.
All right, so we, get ahead in the conversation quickly enough. We know that the recent issue is the Niger coup, where Nigeria and other ECOWAS, states are being urged to weigh in to do something. I believe I saw recently someone said, if more coups keep happening, more military takeovers, it's become an existential threat to other states within West Africa and Africa who are still under civilian rule, because it means that it's a proven working method for others and it could spread. So let me get your thoughts on it. I believe when we were talking, you called it unconstitutional change in government. Does it mean that the government is not valid? What's your take on the coups we are seeing?
Good afternoon, Nigeria and fellow Africans. Thank you for inviting us to speak on this important topic. Firstly, let us look at the topic from a legal perspective. Firstly, what is unconstitutional change of government? In line with Lomé Declaration adopted in July 2000, the following situation are examples of unconstitutional changes of government. 1. Military coup d'etat against a democratically elected government. 2. Intervention by mercenaries to replace a democratically elected government. 3. Replacement of government by armed dissident group or rebel movement. 4. The refusal by an incumbent government to hand over power or to relinquish power to the winning party after free and fair election. Case study the case of Gambia, when Yahya Jammeh refused to hand over to Adam Ovaru. However, the definition of unconstitutional change of government was expanded through the African Charter on Democracy, Election and Good Governance to include manipulation of constitution and legal instrument, also known as KAFTAN agenda. So this is the definition of unconstitutional change of government in line with Lomé Declaration. So moving forward, as far as Africa is concerned, issue of unconstitutional change of government is more worrisome in West Africa. So we come from let me say that our organization is an association that comprises the 15 ECOWAS member states. So we are competent to speak about West Africa. So what is the negative effect of coup d'etat? I'm not only against coup d'etat, we are against unconstitutional change of government. That is why I say let me define what is unconstitutional change of government. So coup d'etat is an indication of democratic deficit, which in turn works against foreign direct investment, economic growth, and freedom in that particular country. And also it establishes dictatorship. Military, when they assume leadership, there is no freedom of expression. The citizen will not be allowed to criticize the government. All their fundamental rights will be abused. So this is the negative effect of military intervention in governance.
Let me just cut in there. A question that a lot of people might not ask or might not know to ask. As we speak, the government is divided into the judiciary, legislature, the executive. In a military setting, does the judiciary still exist? Does the legislature, in fact?
Normally, they close the National Assembly of that particular country whenever they assume leadership. Normally, while the judiciary is just there, they will not respect any ruling except the ruling of that military council. They will not respect any judicial pronouncement or any decision made by a court of law.
So what happens when you want to resolve cases? Someone has stolen a pot of rice or something. In this setting, they are arrested, taken to court, they defend themselves whether they are guilty or not. In the military setting, what happens? Someone just pronounces you guilty, or how does that work?
That one is another issue. Cases related to the government, when the judgment is not in their favor, they will not respect that. They will not respect. It's not necessary that they will respect that ruling. But if it is between, that is a civil matter, or even if it is a criminal matter between citizen and the government, they can respect it if it's not against their wishes or against their interests. If I can remember, Let Gani Fawumi has the highest number of cases with military during Abacha. He has, I think, more than even 10 of 8 cases with Abacha government, and he won them against them. Even there was a time they arrested Gani Fawumi. So you see, when they arrested him, he relied on African Charter on Human and People Rights, and eventually he succeeded against the military government. So the major issue here is that if the judgment is not in their favor, they may not necessarily respect or impose that judgment. That is the problem under military dispensation. They will not respect any judgment except if that judgment is according to their interests.
All right, let Mohammed come in here. I'd like to get your thoughts on, how you think Nigeria should be responding. There have been different advice and admonitions here and there. There's some people say show force, go with the military. Some people say negotiate. Some people say it's not your business. Just let it happen. So how do you think Nigeria should be responding to this?
Well, the president of Nigeria is now the chairman of ECOWAS. So with that, I believe Nigeria is in the right place to intervene. Although when we're talking about military government, diplomacy doesn't really work all the time, because as my learned colleague rightfully said, whatever that is not in their interest, they don't abide by that rule or support it. So the best thing the other ECOWAS member states can do is place sanctions and withdraw from any diplomatic and business relationships with them, so that their foreign economic growth will not be as profitable as it used to be in the democratic era. Because an unlawful overthrow is not supposed to be something that they will benefit from, because it is categorically stated in every constitution, and also some protocols set up by ECOWAS, like the conflict prevention protocol. An unlawful overthrow of government can never be legitimate. It is illegitimate, and it has to stay illegitimate, and they have to know that this is not something, because it has been happening. Maybe one country did it, the second one did it, so nothing happened, and then they feel like, okay, they can keep on. And at this, as we're speaking now, we have over 6 countries which have been overthrown unlawfully. The government has been overthrown unlawfully in Africa. So with this, especially we Nigerians that the president of our country is the chairman of the ECOWAS committee, we have every right to, sanction these countries and withdraw all diplomatic ties with them, for them to know that this is not something that will be beneficial for them in the future, and so that the other African countries who have the plan to do so will understand the negative impact of what they are trying to do.
All right, but do you think all these will still work, considering, like you said, 6 or about currently under military rule? What if these military persons start to form their own diplomacy, that if other people are going to abandon us, we're still together? Isn't it gaining momentum and, setting a bad precedent that eventually others could start to consider that, if they sanction us, we're almost as much as them now. So sanctioning doesn't work anymore.
Well, the United Nations, the African Union, they are also not by this unlawful overthrows. So it wouldn't be only them, maybe let's say only 6 of them against the AU, UN, and other African member states, ECOWAS and all of that. I don't think they will still have more power if all these organizations and countries come together, because at the end of the day, they are the ones doing the illegitimate act. So they don't expect to overpower what the real truth is.
All right, let me get to you now, Sonosi. I'd like to get your thoughts now on the way forward. And when we talk about the way forward, who are we even talking to? Is it the other African governments? Is it the government that has been overthrown? Is it the military men? Who do we speak to? What is the message here, and how can things get better?
Okay, thank you so much for asking me this important question. So firstly, as he rightly said, imposing sanction on military officers that capture power through unconventional way is a right step. However, I commend the bold step taken by Chairman ECOWAS, President Bola Tinubu. However, use of force as far as imposing international law is concerned is the third option. Is the third solution. Firstly, it is good that they place an embargo, financial, the closure, the border, all this kind of restriction they put is right. But as far as current reality is concerned, use of force is not the right option. The ECOWAS should not make that mistake of using force to restore constitutional order in Niger Republic. The reason I'm saying this is because Niger is a sovereign nation. If the military, Nigerian military, enter into that country, the other personnel, they will not allow them, and already the president is in their hand. So I'm urging the ECOWAS. That's the other sanction. I'm happy with the other sanction they put, and I want to remind us that once a military coup is beyond 24 hours, that military coup is successful. And I also have one plausible solution for this Niger issue. Former President Muhammadu Buhari is a respected man in Niger, not only by the government official, including the ordinary common man on the street. So through regional mediation effort, if President Muhammadu Buhari, after some month or 1 month, will lead some powerful delegate to Nigeria. He is also a former military head of state. He know the game, how he was one time also military head of state. He know how the game is played. So if Buhari, as a respected statesman, he will be able to intervene, and I do honestly believe that constitutional order will be restored in Niger Republic through President Muhammadu Buhari and other respected African leaders. They can talk to the military, they can agree to them that they should conduct an election. But now, as we speak, Burkina Faso and Mali, they say they are in support of the Niger. Once the Nigerian military invaded the Republic of Niger, they are going to support them, which means that we are going to have a war within the West African region. And this, and let me tell you something. During last year, Army Chief of Staff of ECOWAS member state meet in Guinea-Bissau. They discuss about this when they are ECOWAS talking about setting anti-coup d'etat unit. They advised the government that they discredited that idea, in the sense that when a coup d'etat take a place, especially when country men and women of that particular country or some part of the military are in support of that coup, so applying the use of using force to restore a constitutional order will result to a war.
All right,
in that particular
so
country.
we've run out of time now. Thank you so much for that. That's an interesting suggestion there. President Buhari wading in. Thank you so much for coming on the program. All right, that's all we can take for today on the Polity. Don't forget, it reaches you live from Abuja every weekday, 2 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. Tomorrow, another segment, another edition of the Polity Host. Join us then. Bye for now. I am Amadine Obewe.